Good morning, guys. So day 3 and we're back on UBTK5 if you can't guess. So we're actually headed back out to do some steering work. Rocky is going to meet me there. We're going to get all the center link, get the power steering pump on, and we'll tell you all about the details once we get there. But super cool thing today is we're actually going to drive Teddy. So I think that's a pretty cool thing and something a little different than what we have been doing. So I got the keys, I got everything to get Teddy rolling. Sorry, I know this exposure is probably terrible because it's so bright. Gonna get Teddy fired up, take him to the new shop. He hasn't been yet. So yeah, I'm talking about him like he's a person, because he is. He's got feelings. All right, so let me move some stuff out of the way and we're gonna get Teddy ready to roll. Ooh, I think I'm about to put this vest on. Man, cold. Man, this truck has not been cranked since the last time y'all probably saw it being driven. It's been sitting in the carport. Man, I love this thing. Let me get some stuff loaded up in it. We're gonna head to the shop. Catch you guys in a minute. We're back on day 3 of trying to button up the chassis, and we are working on power steering today. So basically we bought a whole power steering kit for the UBTK5. It includes this new power steering gearbox from CPP, which is a quick ratio box. I believe it's their CPP 500 box. We've got some power steering line that's rated for the correct amount of pressure on the pressure side, and then we've got all the fittings that will help us adapt everything to 6AN to work with braided power steering lines. We've got the coupler, the rag joint coupler here that works with the CPP 500. So let's dive in and take a little bit closer look at what all this is. First things first, we've got this Earl's power steering hose that is for the pressure side. So we'll be cutting it to length and using it from the power steering pump down to the gearbox on the pressure side. Next, we've got probably one of my favorite pieces and something I'm really looking forward to getting installed today is that new CPP 500 power steering gearbox. Looks like it comes with the appropriate hardware. I haven't completely looked at this, so you're seeing it just as I am. Looks like it may have an adapter plate. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So CPP on it, has some hardware. And then to kind of finish that off and help make this all work seamlessly for this K5, we got a new rag joint that's made specifically for the CPP 500 box so that we can get this all mounted up to our steering shaft without a bunch of issues. Of course, I went in, bought some Russell and Earl's fittings, just depending on what I needed to help make the power steering pressure line and return line. We've got the fittings that go in the back of the power steering pump, then it also run into the gearbox as well. So this is what I believe is a pretty good kit to get you all the power steering that you need in a custom format, so you can really retrofit it to most any truck and most any power steering pump. We're using the factory pump that's on the LS motor, so we're gonna get this stuff installed. All right guys, so we're getting going here. Rocky's gonna pull off this pressure line that's on the back side of the power steering pump. And that's what is that, a 17 millimeter? 17 millimeter, and we're about to see a power steering fluid go everywhere.
Well, not as dramatic as I thought it would be.
I thought it would be too.
Yeah. Well, hold on. There you go.
It's coming out of that return line a lot more than the pressure side.
It's all right. We got to absorb the pads down.
So we've located the fitting that we're putting in the back to run a 6AN line. You can see it here. Part number is 640380, Russell brand. It's a 6AN flare to a 5/8 inch inverted flare that's 18 pitch. Get that in there, and that will be one step closer. So we'll make up our power steering line to fit onto that. And then this is the return line, so we'll be leaving it intact, and then we'll run a hose to it because there's no pressure on that particular line. So Rock got that fitting in, and next we're gonna be utilizing this Earl's 90 on that fitting. So when we're running the power steering hose up from the gearbox to the pump, that we can run the 6AN line and have no issues. So I got the power steering box from CPP. As I mentioned before, this is their new CPP 500 box. So we're gonna use it. Rocky's decided he wants to be down here and do all the dirty work this morning. So I'm gonna let him. And he's only here for a short time, so I'll be here by myself for the rest of the evening. All right, there's some, you got that? So it looks like CPP gives you all the hardware necessary to make this happen. So let's go ahead and see what the footprint's gonna look like on the side of the frame right there. I think it goes right here. We'll use that on top. So we think we got the right hardware now for this. So we're gonna hang this box. Y'all, we can't trust Rocky these days. He's trying to keep secrets.
That's right. So
basically we had to go get some grade 5 because they were out of grade 8. We got grade 5 7/16 inch bolts with 14 pitch and 1.5 inch on the length. Hopefully that'll work. It might be a little long, but we shall see. I'll give you a little hand there. Actually, let me come on through. There we go. So these bolts might be a little long, but
better than too short.
Better than too short. This is a lot easier to do with no front clip on. What are you doing? Huh. It is 5/8. Yeah, like that. Sweet, man. So Rocky's putting on this fresh little cover that dressed up the steering box.
It's so fresh and so clean.
It's so fresh and clean. All right, will you push that up against the frame? Let me see if it's gonna work. All right. All right, guys, I'm gonna pull this off the tripod here in just a minute and get you a closer look, but we got the CPP 500 series steering box mounted up. They sent this nifty little billet aluminum machined cover there that I think kind of makes it stand out a little bit more, so that's pretty cool. So on this CPP box, obviously you've got the pressure and return line. So this will be the return line. We'll just run a soft hose over to an AN fitting here. And then we've got the fitting in the back of the power steering pump that we're running to the pressure line. And basically what we're doing, as I mentioned before, is we're running AN line for the pressure side, and then we're gonna have an AN fitting here as well and just adapt that to the soft return line that's non-pressurized. But the way to do that is you gotta make sure to put AN adapter fittings in here. So this may not be a solution that everybody wants to do, but it's what I wanna do on this particular build, and it makes it easier so I don't have to go hunt down a bunch of different stuff. So this information was actually available online, but I'm gonna tell it to you right here also. So first thing, CPP just puts these little plugs in the pressure and return port. So I'm gonna take those out. And basically what that leaves you are these two ports. One is larger than the other. So on the pressure side, you've got the larger fitting, which is a 648050 from Russell, 648050. So we'll go ahead and throw that in. And this has got a little washer there, so we're gonna leave that in place. But again, that one for the pressure side in the CPP 500 box is 648050, and it is a 6AN to 11/16 18 inverted flare. So that's the one thing you got to remember about the CPP 500 box is the fittings are inverted flares. So on the return side, you got a little bit smaller fitting. This is a 6AN to 5/18 18 inverted flare, and the part number is 640380. So 640380. So we'll just put that one in there like so. So we'll just tighten that one down a little. So I gotta say, thus far, I am very pleased with the CPP box because, well, for one thing, It fit very well. It looks like it's, you know, made very nicely. They provide you with this awesome CPP cover just to give you a nicer look as you're looking down onto the top of the box. Obviously that's nothing functional, but that is a pretty cool part of it. So now we're ready to run our 6AN elbows there. So what I'm essentially doing is running these Earl 90-degree elbows here. And let me get that open for you. So they are part number 159106ERL. So basically all it is, just your regular 6AN 90-degree elbow. So I'm just gonna mock these up to kind of show you what they look like. I'm probably not gonna make the line tonight. That'll run just like that. And I may have to come up with a different solution if for some reason I don't have enough room with this, but I'm thinking that I will. Because I could track down what fittings fit in the back of the power steering box and what fittings would go into the CPP 500 box. Basically, I just figured that out down in the comments on summitracing.com. It just made this a lot easier than me trying to make sure the factory lines would fit. Plus, I think this gives it a little bit more custom look. This hose I was showing you before, which is Earl's power steering hose. This is rated to something like 2,000 or 3,000 PSI, but essentially this will run from this pressure side right into the back of the hose. And the reason right into the back of the pump, and the reason I'm not gonna make this up tonight is because this fitting is actually the same fitting that goes in the back of the power steering pump. So this, I believe it's a 5/8 18 is what I said. I only ordered one of these, so I've got this one in the box now, and I'm gonna put the other one when it comes in the back of the power steering pump. So as far as the actual power steering setup goes, I've got the CPP 500 box. I've got these two adapter fittings that basically convert the 11/16 and the 5/8 fitting to a 6AN, and then these are the 6AN 90 degrees fittings from Earl's, and then I'm gonna run this line into the back of the power steering pump. Next thing we're gonna do to kind of keep the steering setup moving is we're gonna install the center link and get the tie rods set up so we've actually got some steering of this thing, and then mount that steering linkage to the power steering box. So I'm gonna get this thing up in the air a little bit so I've got some room to move under there, and we'll see you in just a second. Okay guys, so we're back in the shop today, and it's been a tale of make some progress but then realize you don't have a part. So last night I was working on getting all the steering done and realized that I didn't have the pitman arm for the steering center link and to complete the steering setup. So I went and got a Moog pitman arm. It is K6143, and Rocky is now cleaning up all this because we're gonna get it all cleaned up, get it painted, and then we're gonna install it. So that should complete at least the mechanical part of the steering. I've still got to run, obviously, the AN line to the power steering pump and the return line, but that's something we're gonna do another time. So I think that's gonna really get us moving. One thing that I think we may end up having to do is, because we've got airbags, it's going to be really low, we're probably going to have to narrow the tie rod ends, and that's a pretty normal thing that happens on a really low vehicle. So we can go ahead and bolt it all up now, it's not going to matter, but when we go for an alignment, we're probably going to have to cut those tie rod ends off. So for now, you're going to see us bolt this all up, but just remember, if you have a really low truck, reinstalling the steering, the center link, the tie rods and all that to get a proper alignment, you may, and I repeat, may have to shorten those tie rod ends. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Rocky's going to finish getting this cleaned up. I'm going to go find a place for us to hang it up and get it painted, indoors preferably, because it's about 30 degrees outside right now.
Feels about zero.
It does feel about zero. Back on it, making some progress. So if you guys hadn't figured out, we are literally just working a couple hours a day. We all have day jobs and we're all running around like crazy trying to get stuff done. So this weekend, you're probably going to see some really big progress Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just to kind of give you all a little bit of an idea of what we're up against. We're going to be installing the air management, fuel lines, and then hopefully setting the body. So the next video you see is probably, well, the next couple of videos you see is going to be some really significant progress where this thing's going to take shape in a way that, well, makes it look like it's a K5 and ready to roll to Texas. So we'll keep you posted on that progress, but I hope you've enjoyed thus far what we've done on the steering, brake lines, buttoning up the chassis. Like I said, we've gone back and redone the whole front suspension, so everything as far as air lines, the way the bag fits, Everything is buttoned up minus the control arm, the upper control arm on the driver's side. We're hoping to have that back in from Michigan Metal Works before we go to Texas. If not, we've got another solution in place that'll get us there. But hope you guys have enjoyed this thus far, and we're gonna get this this whole steering set up, cleaned up, painted, and get it installed. We'll show it all to you. Rocky's over here messing.
Rocky's over here knowing what he's doing.
Dude, so we got the center link, the tie rods, the idler arm, and then we got our new pitman arm here, as I mentioned earlier. We're gonna get all this set up. Tie rods are being connected to the center link here. I'm actually gonna move the camera to give y'all a better view. So you can see here, we've just started to get all this. So the idler arm is connected to the frame. We got the tie rod connected to the back of the center link. Tie rod's running out to the spindle. We'll have to adjust that once we start getting this going, but you can see here's the center link running all the way across. Tie rod connects here and then runs out to the spindle. Here is where the pitman arm attaches to the steering box and then attaches to the center link.
Your hands and touching the wheel.
Yeah, good point. We got the tie rod attached to the spindle, and we're definitely gonna have to cut it off and make it a little shorter. As you can tell, the wheel's kind of kicked out. We'll cut this and make it shorter. We got the new Moog pitman arm mounted to the center link. We've got CPP power steering box, center link painted all the way across. Run over here, we're gonna have to touch the idler arm bolts up. So we got the tie rod connected over here, idler arm. So we'll be able to steer this bad boy for too much longer. All right guys, so the battery in our camera died, but you can tell that we got the steering buttoned up, brake lines run. We're going to finish the rest of the brake lines when we set the body down. We buttoned up the entire chassis front to back, and we're definitely making moves. So the next thing we got to do is fuel system, air management, which will be here the end of the week. And then we're going to set the body down on this thing, and then we're going to finish getting it wired up, fired up, and get it all buttoned up. So we're making some good progress. I hope that you guys are enjoying watching the progress on UBTK5. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Definitely smash that thumbs up button if you like what you've seen, and leave a comment down below. Let us know what your favorite part of UBTK5 is thus far. We'll catch you next time right here on United by Trucks. Cue the music.